live! At least I hope so. I was putting something on 24 frames per second. That's that cable internet.
Very, very cinematic of you.
And now it's fucking, it's gotta because we're streaming now. Dropping into a laggy song from Emure. This is crazy, man. So, you call these guys, like, the Nickelback of the metal
Well, I mean,
scene?
I don't want to make anything, like, official on that, but they're one of those, they're just a figure in pop culture that kind of gets some bandwagon hate, right? Like, there's some people that legit, you know, like, for whatever reason don't like this group, but then it just kind of becomes trendy to shit on. Like, I think that's what happened with Aquaman. I mean, you know, as far as useful, I mean, like, 3/4 of the planet's surface is covered by ocean. I mean, so there's that, but there's also the fact that since he can swim 80 miles an hour, miles deep under the ocean, that means his muscular density is way beyond superhuman.
Dude, yeah, I never really thought that, man. Dude,
yeah, think about it. Like, yeah, I mean, imagine the pressure his body can withstand. That's insane. Like, I mean, that would kill Bruce Wayne, as badass as he is. You dropped him in Atlantis with no gear, he would get smushed.
Oh, yeah, the pressure, man.
Yeah, like, you know, I mean, we're talking, like, what, at least a mile down? I mean, you know, so...
Dude,
but like, yeah, in Muir, they do get a lot of hate, you know. So does a band called Attila, and they're of a similar genre, or, you know, or ilk to Muir, and they really get shit on.
Attila and Emure, even the names are kind of fucking crazy. But speaking of, like, pressure and fucking Aquaman and all this fucking... All those things. Dude, I fucking dove like 6 fucking feet in a pool the other day, and I came up and I was like, man, my fucking sinuses hurt. Like, I've never really noticed it before. But yeah, Bruce Wayne totally crushed, man. Yeah, as far as that. I still can't really get over the fact that there's a band called Attila, though.
And that's one of those names, I'm surprised that it took as long for someone to get it as it has. That seems like, especially for a metal band name, you know, like that, it's short, it's punchy, it can have that crazy death metal band text, like, you know, that, like, just looks like all tendril, you know, that black metal look. I mean, yeah, it is, but Attila is actually kind of a cool band name. I mean, yeah, I'm not necessarily crazy about the music, but it's a cool band name.
Yeah, I think about Attila the Hun.
Yeah, I think that was the intent, was because I can't think of another Attila. I mean, I'm sure there's been one, like, almost certain in the 1,000+ years since Attila rode. I think it's about like that. It's about that amount of time. But yeah, I'm sure there's been another one, even if it's only in pop culture.
Cancel Attila. This is the first hit on the Watch Together fucking Facebook Messenger fucking thing.
Cancel Attila?
Yeah, well, that's the song. It's canceled by Attila.
Oh, okay, all right. I thought it was a move to cancel Attila. Really? I guess. All right.
I almost wish that, like, I guess you can't see the whatever I'm pulling up. I figured it was, since it's sharing the screen. I guess it starts. Yeah, you can tell when it starts sharing. The buffering is fucking crazy.
See, I love that style of vocal, man.
I already like this. Just the sound of it. That fucking screeching noise, that white noise fucking guitar. Hell yeah, dude, I like this shit. Yo, distance. That fucking music, dude. I mean, I like that. Some of this is like you were talking about, that one that hits that primal fucking core audience. This is part of it, you know, where it's like, hey, I listen to country and I listen to all this other shit, but I see the appeal of Attila. I'm feeling the Attila. Feeling.
And that song I mentioned, "The River" by Wage War. That's a good one. That's one I like to scream along to, because there's a few like big shifts when he'll be going from like a deep mid. You know what I mean? Like a deeper mid, not a guttural, but like something deeper to that like really up top banshee scream, and that can be a tough jump. I mean, like, because you have to be able to do it, like, within one breath. Well, at least I do. I can't inhale quick enough to jump registers like that. So I have to set up my breathing so that I can get out the low and then immediately jump to the high in the same breath. And, like, that shit, like, I don't always nail it. Sometimes it just sounds really lame. Like, really, really lame. Because the way you're creating that sound, like it can be easy to kind of slip out of that groove, especially for me because I haven't been doing it for very long.
Now, this is a song you like to sing along to. What was it called? Wage
War? The River by Wage War.
Oh, fuck, of course. Fuck, I'm probably gonna have a hard time finding it through the Facebook.
Yeah, I know. They like to. I don't know if you call that curating results or not, but they definitely get some things that wouldn't pop up if you search YouTube.
Okay, the hell, this might be it. I'm actually surprised. Let's see. It might be like a location.
Yeah, this is it.
Where it gets like a. Okay, metal. Hashtag metalcore. I've never heard of metalcore.
Go. I love that go. I fucking love that. That part is really tough.
This shit's fucking hard. Yeah, the breakdowns. I can see why you're all about this breakdown, dude.
There's a part coming up I love. This part coming up right here.
Yeah, that fucking guitar's fucking tight.
I love that. Like a kill switch sound, I love that.
The video with the fucking 6 hands. Pretty creepy part. I didn't really expect it from... Wow, this is fucking wicked. I hate the crimpered hair though, man, on the fucking, at least for the look, the aesthetic of the video. Hell yeah.
That scream is one of my favorites because I hold it from way past this. I hold it till the beat drops again, and that shit can be like you start seeing spots.
Dude, they got a fucking hot ass chick in this fucking video too, man. She was fucking video girl. She's cute. Some of this video is just so weird, man.
And I like the outro. The outro could have been its own song.
The outro?
Coming up.
Probably gotta get it. Fuck, do I deal with that thing?
This part right here.
Damn those drums.
Yeah, I love going. Like I say, I don't even get 50% when it comes to that one, or I'll blow it. But every once in a while, I can nail that song in one take, and it feels good. But I look like I just hit the treadmill for 5 minutes when I'm done with it. Because there are a few parts that, like at the very beginning, he was doing a guttural scream, and then he jumped right up to the, what is it? Your lips and your lies was a growl, and then and they sever the ties, and that was a scream. And it's a tough one to do, but I like doing that one a lot.
I can't believe you. This is the stuff that you practice singing to?
Well, no. This is the stuff that I attempt after I've warmed up for a few hours. This is at the very, very edge of what you could call practice, right? Like, I mean, this is basically my 1 rep max.
You would have to save this for the fact that this guy can do this for like 15 or 16 songs during a live show is fucking insane to me.
Presumably, some heavy metal vocalists, especially the extreme style, they can't do it, and it's not because necessarily that they blow their voices out. It's because they get winded. like legitimately, you can tell there is. I want to say it's on Disaster Piece, a live Slipknot album. That there are a few songs. Corey Taylor does not sound very good, and it's not because he blew his throat out. It's because he's jumping around like a lunatic, so he's getting winded, and he's having to do these parts that are very, very like breath intensive. But yeah, this is one I go for. Also,
The River.
Walk With Me in Hell by Lamb of God. That's another one I go with. That's another tough one. Let's see. End of Heartache by Killswitch, just because I love Howard. Like, he's got such a huge voice, man. Which isn't surprising, because he's a pretty big guy.
I want to hear this one, actually, The End of Heartache. I'm going to try to pull it up.
Let's see, there's there's Omerta by Lamb. A lot of Lamb of God. That was the first band that I really ever screamed along with. That was like the first band I listened to a lot when I learned. And that one was tough, man. Like that, because Randy Blythe is such a fucking monster. Like, he really, really is.
I don't think I've heard a Lamb of God song at all. I probably have, but like I probably wouldn't be able to distinguish it.
No, we've listened to a couple.
Let me see. All right, I'm playing. You probably see what I'm playing. The End of Heartache.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go grab a drink real quick. I'll be right back.
Right on.
Fucking jam. I don't know much about metal. Fuck, it's gonna play.
You see what I mean? Like when I say singing with your chest.
That motherfucker, man. Kill Switch is fucking awesome.
And see, the great thing about that song, and with that band in general, and that song in particular, is you could tell on the verses that he wasn't double tracking his vocals, or if he was doing it so insanely perfectly. It sounded like it was just him, and that's how you can usually. That's a good indication of where a singer is. If they like multi-track their vocals, they're probably a fairly weak singer.
Oh yeah. Very
right, and with Howard, it sounds like one single track. Chris Cornell did that a lot too. Why? Because neither one of them needed any tricks. They were the trick.
Yeah, it was almost to that point where like the second vocal track of fucking like someone like Chris Cornell, the second vocal track would be almost like kind of weird. You know, you're like,
it'd be strange. It'd be kind of pointless.
There's two good singers in this band.
I mean, unless it's for the purpose of him doing a harmony. And I am of the belief that don't do a harmony in the studio you're not planning on and that you can't recreate live. Unless the point of the song is to be something that you can only do in the studio. Like, I know a lot of Beatles and Beach Boys songs were like that, where they use the studio as an instrument in and of itself. That's like the whole point of Pet Sounds and Sgt. Pepper was kind of exploring the recording space as its own entity. But like, I mean, but you look at a band like Alice in Chains. Lane Staley didn't track both vocals, and then Jerry Cantrell did it live. Jerry Cantrell sang his parts in the studio, and I think whenever possible, do that. And there's also a bad habit of heavy metal vocals that they'll record a track in the studio, but they'll have it set up in such a way, like there'll be so little time between words that you can't possibly jump. Sometimes you can tell, like especially when you hear them sing it live, they have to cut off like the last syllable of that verse. That way they can jump into the next one. Like, you know, you can usually tell when someone does that.
Yeah, I feel that way when I'm trying to like write my own songs or whatever too. You know, I'm like, damn. A perfect example is a song that I fucking have been like walking all over here recently. Is Eddie Money's like "Take Me Home Tonight," just like, because I guess to fit that pop standard which we all expect, kind of in a way. You know what I'm saying? We need hooks. You almost can't like really flow it that well live into the chorus. You know. Or at least that's the way I feel about it.
It seems like maybe that he either had a second vocalist or he ended the recording and then started another recording when it like he kind of punched in right there.
Yeah, definitely a punch in, man. I was trying to sing it. Karaoke. I was doing fucking Eddie Money fucking karaoke. It's fucking Take Me Home Tonight. Just
I have to look that because all I know is 2 Tickets to Paradise, which is like, of course.
Wow. I always forget about that song too, which is crazy to think.
That is, like, for me anyway, that is the Eddie Money. Like, just because I have very little exposure to Senior Money. So, but when I think of Eddie Money, I think 2 Tickets to Paradise. Won't you come away with me tonight?
You think you can do some vocals to it? Let's find out.
I mean, like, not well. I mean, like probably not. I like doing Cumbersome by 7 Mary 3. I fucking love doing that song.
Cumbersome. My World, damn it.
Yeah, that's just such a good song. Or Nutshell by Alice in Chains, but the unplugged version, which is by far the superior version.
Man, yeah, Lane Staley, dude, what a fucking treat. We was glad to be a guy like Lane Staley, man. He could have fucking just been a heroin addict and went away. But he was a heroin addict, and he was still passionate about his fucking music. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I definitely agree. Like him showing up at MTV Unplugged looked like a fucking skeleton dipped in wax.
Oh, I haven't seen this. Hang on, let me see.
But like this was him. This was their 1994, I believe, Unplugged recording, and this was when Lane. This is after Alice in Chains, as we understood it then, really wasn't. They hadn't broken up officially, but Lane was in Seattle doing heroin. Like that was where Elaine was. So like Alice in Chains, but he showed up and he looked awful, but that voice was still there, and it was kind of spooky sometimes because it was like hearing that powerhouse sound come out of a cancer patient.
Yeah, that's what dude. The dude is just skin and bones. I'm looking at some of these pictures on the.
That's what happens when you get on the horse gets on you.
Yeah, that is that's wild, man. But such a good singer. Even like you said, even at his addicted to substance phase that he was in, to see like what he could have come to be on heroin and to be fucking totally fucking like your life depends on it, because it's essentially, I guess, what it was for him.
Yeah, that's absolutely what it was.
And to still be able to fucking sing. The story about him is just so sad, man. Especially the ending of it. But to celebrate really the fucking the apex of his fucking career, man. There was something on Facebook that popped up too. I think it was called The Birth of Grunge. It's got to be a Facebook group page, but it's called The Birth of Grunge. And they was playing Man in the Box, I think, and I was like, dude, this sounds better than the fucking studio version. Him fucking live?
Yeah, they were one of those bands that really probably was better live, just because there was a palpable energy. Like, there are some groups of people that just work together, right? Like some, they're Led Zeppelin, Metallica. There are some bands that just work together, and Alice in Chains is one of them.
Jerry Cantrell, yeah, he was a bad motherfucker too. But when I hear his vocals, I almost feel like, even when he's singing it live, I feel like it's still in the studio for some reason.
Like, because it sounds so much like the studio.
Yeah.
That's the way it is for me anyway. It sounds so much like the studio that it's actually a little bit like you're kind of about to call bullshit.
Yeah, it's like, is this a backing track?
Yeah, like, what's going on? Are we getting Milli Vanilli, Ashley Simpson over here? What's the word, Jerry?
That's not the hugest gripe to me. It's like to see a band, but it is. I hate to watch it. I hate to see a guy fucking lip sync to his own song. Like, it's kind of depressing.
You should look up what Iron Maiden did one time when they showed up and they were told they had to lip sync. Iron Maiden was having none of that. They just all, like, live. They just started switching instruments, and, like, and Bruce Dickinson ran back and started pretending like he was playing the drums.
Some of those guys, they probably fucking were like, alright, we can do that. Let's just pretend we're fucking, they're sitting there fucking strumming their guitars and whatever, and just, it's so weird. And it's like, hey, where it's TV, we can play pretend. I can see someone fucking doing that shit. There's a lot of pretend time actors and shit like that. Not actors, but producers and directors. When I say pretend time, I mean like, for some reason, my mind keeps going back to that Dave Chappelle story of someone telling him to put on a dress. You know, it's like, hell no. I feel like Dave Chappelle.
Well, I mean, it depends on the dress. I'm not just going to wear any rag. I mean, like, that shit's going to have to look good. I'm going to have to like the cut of it and everything. Like, I'm not some easy bitch over here.
He was having none of it.
Apparently. I mean, some people, and like, more power to them. But like, I don't know. As a musician, I'd be kind of like, I do this for a living, right? Like, I don't have to pretend to play. Like, I've spent many, many, many years learning how to do this for real. Like, so how about you let me turn my amp on and I blow the goddamn doors off this place?
Fucking Ashley Simpson, I think when she had her fucking incident, she said she had laryngitis.
And it's just like, look, just own it. Like, look, it was Saturday Night Live. Hardly anybody ever, like, don't just try to make it. It's like, look, man, yeah, I lip sync. Okay, all right, yeah, I did.
I almost wonder
just that laryngitis. Like, maybe it's true. Maybe it was true, but it still sounds like a cop-out.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that she was definitely a studio singer. And not even, I say that's almost too much of a compliment for her. The whole studio singer.
I wouldn't go any further than that. She is a singer that works best in the studio. And if you notice, like, you'll hear, first of all, it doesn't sound like, say what you want about Adele, but I believed her. She had, like, an Aretha Franklin vibe. She didn't need a microphone. That shit was just, like, a pleasantry. She could hit the back of any room she was in by herself. But then you have some vocalists who you can tell they're not singing very loud. You can tell that they're multi-tracking their vocals. So you can tell that, like, there's just not... I mean, say what you want about Christina Aguilera. I mean, she's made a lot of shitty pop music. But she is one of those vocalists that you might get a half dozen of every generation or two.
Yeah. Aguilera's bad, dude. I always forget that. I always fucking count her out, man. But then, like,
because the music she makes, she doesn't make any music that really demands her to be taken seriously. Now, I don't exactly know what that means, but, like, still, she seems to err more on the side of pop.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's enough to get her noticed and stuff like that, but it's not enough to, like, get her really fully taken, even though she deserves to be taken serious, but not fully taken serious.
Well, she has the skill to be taken seriously. Whether she deserves it or not is dependent upon her actions. And the only thing we can judge is the music she's released.
Well, I think
and she's had a few burlesque. I think she had a whole burlesque album, like an album of older kind of music.
Yeah, she was always someone like... The thing that sucks, she was so in the shadow. And really, even, like... The only reason I can think, like... that could be a fault to her, which is not really her fault. It's just the fucking card she was dealt. But she was in Britney Spears' shadow, and I feel like, you know, as a dude, a hormonal teenager, Britney Spears was way hotter. You know, I don't know if it was the fucking... I don't think it was the Catholic schoolgirl, because I'm not Catholic. There's really nothing about that. But maybe that's a universal thing, to fucking think that the Catholic schoolgirl is just this fucking...
Dude, skirt and knee-high socks, all right? Like, I don't care if they're Catholic, I don't care if they're a schoolgirl. You can remove both of those and, like, socks and the skirt. Like, maybe I'm a basic bitch, but so be it, because that blows my hair back.
Yeah, the basic bitch. The Catholic schoolgirl, it's the anime of the West, in a way.
I think, well, I don't know. Like, I would have to say that Japan, they're probably more on school uniforms than America is.
I just feel like that's America's version of it, though.
It's definitely, you know, because something.
Maybe it was that I want to. That's my first introduction to Britney Spears, you know. And I remember Christina Aguilera's was a genie in a bottle. Dude, to think back to that time of watching, like, Carson Daly, Total Request Live.
Yeah, back when, like, that's what I call music only had, like, 4 volumes.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that's what I call music number 94. It's like, I remember the first fucking one. Like, I remember the very first. You ever want to look at the state of music at, like, any given time? Not the whole state, but if you ever want, like, an overview of the pop charts, just go back and look up Now That's What I Call Music. And you're going to see, like, the cultural landscape shift. Yeah. But it's a good thing you mentioned about Britney and, excuse me, and Christina, about Christina being in Britney's shadow. That is absolutely true, because if you recall, there's an iconic moment in Britney Spears' career. It was when she kissed Madonna at the MTV Music Video Awards. But what everyone tends to completely neglect is that Christina Aguilera also kissed Madonna in that same performance.
Oh, wow.
Like, Madonna kissed Britney and then turned and kissed Christina, like, one after the other.
I had no idea. That's hilarious.
Exactly. Man. That's how far Christina was in Britney's shadow. That, like, literally, she had the exact same thing happen to her moments apart. But anybody only ever remembers Britney.
That's fucking crazy. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up, man. That's fucking brilliant.
That's why. Yeah, but that's exactly the case, though. You are factually accurate when you say that Christina was in Britney's shadow, even though, and I think this is objectively true, even though Christina was a far superior singer. Maybe not a far superior pop, songstress or dancer, but as far as sheer mechanical ability goes, no one in the pop starlet scene is anywhere near Christina Aguilera.
Going back to Britney, but what do you think it was? Do you think it was those doe eyes, those bedroom eyes that she fucking had? It had to have been. You know?
I mean, but Christina was cute too.
Yeah, but I mean, just thinking about Britney Spears, because I don't know. Maybe it's just fucking weird. But there's really nothing to me that stands out. I don't remember Britney Spears' ass. I don't remember Britney Spears' tits. I remember just how fucking cute or hot them. I thought she was fucking fine as fuck. Really.
I think maybe it's
Maybe
because.
it
All right, let's look at their big breakout, and let's strip the music away, and let's take a look only at their presentation in the video. And I believe that we could say that maybe not like their breakout songs were "Hit Me Baby One More Time" and "Genie in a Bottle," respectively. Now, if we strip away the music as we've done, and we look at their wardrobe. Christina was dressed in, like late 90s, early 2000s cute girl stuff. Like the baggy kind of cargo parachute pants with like the belly shirt that shows like an inch of belly, like kind of like a tank top. Like she's got that look. Meanwhile, Brittany is wearing a Catholic schoolgirl outfit.
Oh, yeah, man. I totally forgot about the cargo pants, too, man. Your memories.
It's like that, and I still love that. That look reminds me of Lita from WWF, the Hardy Boys. So I'm all about that shit. I'm all for that. But I mean, once again, like that's not all that their packaging was. There was, the musical ability, and in Christina's case, a tremendous musical ability. But I don't think it comes down to it. Britney Spears was a better pop star. Like I think that's very snide. They can't be compared when it's down to singing. But as far as like Christina's not a pop star the way Britney was.
Oh, Britney Spears is a pop star. It's effortless.
That's not a bad way of looking at it. There was more effort for Christina. I agree.
Yeah, she doesn't almost have to do any fucking thing because some
people have it, man.
Her fucking voice is like it's not nails on a chalkboard. But it's almost that, really. I mean, you hear it and you're like, oh, and it's like, dude, I remember, I revisited that song, like, not long ago, and I was like, her voice is so fucking annoying, It's nasally.
It's a little girl voice. I hate the little girl. I can't stand that shit.
Yeah, even
like
now,
I'm sorry, dude. I'm in my mid-30s. All right, like my little girl voice days are they are back with my hair. All right, they're a relic of the past. Okay.
Yeah. The way I think about it too is like no one wants to do that song. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do karaoke, and I'm sure there's other songs too. But in the vein that this was this is probably number one of a top 100 list. No one wants to ever do that song. There's plenty of songs like that, but yeah, that song is just kind of terrible too.
And I mean, but it's a well-constructed pop song in the time period that it came out. I mean, like it is, but it really is. It's cotton candy.
Singing back, it almost sounds kind of cool in a way, because I'm reliving the verse in my head. It's like, how was I supposed to know? I can't remember the rest of the.
Yeah, like I say, it's well constructed. I mean, I believe the Matrix are the pop songwriting duo or group that was responsible for writing a lot of the songs at that time period, and they had a phenomenal understanding of how to construct an easily digestible and even more easily forgettable 3.5-minute pop tune. That was precisely what they did, and for that being their intent, they were damn near flawless at it. But like I say, it's cotton candy. There's nothing. It doesn't fill you. It doesn't there's no satiation. It's just okay, cool. I listened to that song.
Yeah, it totally melts in your mouth. Like you're like, oh man, this is fluffy. This is everything.
And then it's done. And then it's over. And you're looking for something else. And you go and you listen to like Janis Joplin or something. Like for fuck's sake.
Wow. Yeah, there's so many fucking amazing fucking chick singers. It is crazy. That thing about Britney Spears is crazy too. It's like the whole thing that's happening with her. It's crazy that even she's back in the fucking. Britney Spears had fucking almost a terrifying career.
I would say there's no almost to it. I say get rid of that unnecessary. She has a terrifying life.
She is. I mean, dude, I think about it. What, 10 years ago? Whenever that shit happened, went into a barbershop, shaved her head. Did she go to a barbershop?
I think she did it herself, and I want to say it was closer to 15 years ago now, because that was when bald Britney flipped out and started attacking cars with umbrellas.
Yes, the umbrella's the best part, I think, too. There's anything. But those freeze frames, those fucking pictures that they took of her in the midst of a mental fucking breakdown. With that umbrella, I think there's actually a picture. I keep coming back to it in my head, man. My visual memory of her fucking with that umbrella. She's got a fucking Elvis Presley snarl in her fucking lips, and she's about to strike the camera with that umbrella. Now I don't know if I fabricated this image in my head, or I don't know if it's actually
No, look. Maybe the exact snapshot you're picturing isn't what you'll find, but you have assembled an accurate representation of that series of photos. She is looking bald and crazy.
It's so fucking wild, man. If anybody, dude, wow.
And I have, quite a bit of empathy because, I've had some moments myself where I fucking totally flip out. And I cannot imagine, being important enough for dozens of people to want to photograph that and millions of people to care. So I have some degree of empathy because she was at a moment when the last thing she needed was a goddamn camera in her goddamn face.
Nah, dude, I almost feel like that's all she was used to. Just imagine being someone... pretty much a Truman Show. She was a Truman Show, man.
She never got to be a real girl. I mean, she was, 16 when Hit Me Baby One More Time came out, and you don't know nothing from nothing at 16.
Her parents totally prostituted her out. Really, you think about her fucking childhood? Hey, you're 6 years old, Brittany. Let's go audition at Disney. They got this cool new thing. You're going to love it. And it's like, really, to even be like a 8-year-old or however old she was, and kind of, I hate Justin Timberlake, but to be even that age or like that, and like Disney's like, we see something in you, we're gonna fucking turn you into this. To see what Britney Spears turned into is fucking, and and to go back to what we're talking about, she can really sell this bullshit just with her fucking look. What you talk about, some people have it. Britney Spears has fucking got a fucking mullet. She's got a skullet, pretty much. She is bald on top. Got the skullet going. She's got like a Jesse Ventura going on. She's still kind of hot. Like, I would still probably fuck this chick.
She's beautiful, no doubt about it. I mean, that was actually, you could say, part of her problem. I don't want to say problem, but I don't want to say curse because that sounds too dramatic. But that was kind of part of her overall issue, was the fact that she was so beautiful.
She's kind of been a window, man. To me, she's like a Marilyn Monroe if Marilyn Monroe hadn't fucking died, back in the day. She's almost like a modern day Marilyn Monroe, Britney Spears. That sounds weird to say, but I almost feel like it kind of is, but it's got its own path, where it's not like on the same trajectory that Marilyn Monroe was, where she's fucking sleeping with presidents, which is crazy. But it almost seems like they're one and the same, Maybe it's
there's going to be a bit of overlap between the two, I suppose. I mean, they're definitely iconic American blondes. I mean, so if nothing else, there's that bit of overlap.
But yeah, her vocals, man, jeez, man, especially leave something where it's like not completely annoying when you hear it. From shaving head to umbrella attack, 6 times Britney Spears. Britney Spears shaved head meltdown revisited in new. Someone actually revisited this, like I'm doing now.
Of course they did. That's a good bit of pop culture currency right there. They're going to drag that out. And she's especially relevant now that she's especially relevant.
Oh yeah, especially what's going on with her. She's fighting pretty much. Britney Spears is fighting for her freedom. She's
conservatorship or something. Like, I'm not exactly. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure of what that means. Like, maybe when she had her issue that her life essentially was put in the hands of someone else, in which case it's, of course, she should, like, have, I mean, if she's now mentally and physically fit and sound, no one has any right to, like, control over, like, power of attorney, right? I mean, that, I understand. Then maybe she might have made some decisions that would not have been good for her long term. All right, fair enough, fine, totally cool. But she's bounced back since then, I would imagine. I'd fucking hope. So if she's of sound mind and body, there is no reason for someone to have control over her finances.
That's what sucks.
Other than they just want the money and the power.
You think about her like her fucking husband, Kevin Federline. You remember when she fucking got with a backup dancer? Or maybe a background dancer? I don't know what Kevin Federline was, but she married this dude, and he was a fucking dancer. She's clearly fucking sub-retarded. I mean, I say that, but I almost feel like she's trapped in this perpetual state. She's got Peter Pan syndrome. I mean, she's always a fucking kid, really. I don't feel like Britney Spears probably ever matured, even in her fucking 30, 40-year-old body. You know, I don't know what year she was born, but I mean, she's got to be like, she's not much older than me. But yeah, I don't think she ever fucking, like, grew up.
I mean, you gotta wonder how much of a chance she ever had to grow up. I mean, I don't want to make too much of an excuse for her, but, like, I cannot imagine the weird bubble someone like her lived in during the height of her career. I mean, that's something it's alien to me. It's completely alien.
Yeah, it should be, too, because to me, I feel like it's fucking evil, where it's like, pretty much like her. I've never seen, someone's never been so prostituted out where your life just fucking takes precedent over, like, or I guess the public consumption of your life, your art, whatever you want to call it, just takes precedent over your individualism, you know? And really, it's sad to say, even, like, I think the judge awarded some of the people, you know, part of it, and you might need to be, I mean, Britney Spears might need to be, like, where she has a continual caretaker, you know, where someone to watch over her, because she's not a real person. She doesn't understand.
She robbed from her. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, she totally, it's such a weird thing to see. I mean, it really is. I don't ever see Britney Spears learning how to balance a checkbook, you know, learning how to change a tire, anything like that, you know, and that's like on the thing. Even if Britney Spears, I don't think she would ever learn how to change a tire. But
to be fair, there are a lot of women, like, you know, average women who don't know how to do that. But there are a lot of average men who don't know how to do that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah,
so that's not really like that. That's not too terribly disconnected.
But to see her, man, dude, she's it's so sad, you know.
Yeah, just see her bald and crazy with an umbrella, stabbing a tire, trying to change it.
Now, just imagine going to court, and you're fighting for your right to do what you want to do. Britney Spears can't even have a kid. To do what you want to do, and to having to go to court over it, is such an absurd statement.
Awful.
It's so absurd. It's almost like the corporate identity of Britney Spears. Like I said, it's totally nullified the fucking sense of self that she would ever have. Obviously, she would have, because she's a person. You know, she is such a non-person. I feel bad for her. I really do. I remember, I think there was a video of her, like, maybe 10 years ago or something like that, where she was in a hotel room, and her manager at the time might have filmed it. I don't know why he filmed it. The only reason this guy would have filmed this video was to exhibit total fucking power and control over her. But the thing she was saying, she acted like she was on drugs. Like, drugged up 24/7. She's loopy as fuck. And the only reason I could think that you would be on that much medication is because you probably got fucking passed around. I really don't know why someone could be like, yeah, you need to take this and this. Make sure you take this Seroquel. Make sure you take this Wellbutrin. All these fucking medications. She acted like not on this planet. Really. I mean, she was that glitch in the Matrix or whatever you want to call it. It didn't belong here. She was a fucking artifact.
I mean, entirely possible that they had her on more chemicals than she was ever even remotely aware of.
Do you know the video I'm talking about, though? Have you ever seen it?
No. I mean, not that I'm aware of. I might have, I might see it and go, oh, yeah, I remember that from whatever. But, like, that video off the top of my head, no. That sounds very, very depressing.
Oh, it totally is, man. I mean, I totally felt for her, and that's probably only... This is what makes her story here recently even more, like, tragic, man. Is that she's been so controlled by this conservatorship. I'm glad now that, 2021, I've got a word to call this fucking control group that, rules over her. And what's even funny, conservativeship? What the fuck does that even mean?
Conservatorship.
What does that even mean, though? That's just insane to say that's actually a thing. That's actually a thing.
Well, let's see. Like, we know that the word conservation means, and we know that like a wildlife conservation is a designated space that is very monitored in a very certain kind of way, right? Like, so I mean, if you apply that to a person, it's a designated person that is monitored for specific kinds of things. So I imagine a conservatorship would be placed on a person if they are of great means, but not necessarily of sound mind, is what I would imagine it would be.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, man.
I mean, that's cool. So maybe you could make an argument she needed something like that during the bald and crazy phase of her life. Okay, fine. But, like, is she still in that headspace? Like, is that still where she is mentally? Because, okay, like, maybe you could make a case for a concern. I just don't like that idea, no matter what. I don't like that idea. I see its uses, but I also see the myriad of ways it can be abused. And I don't know if that's the case. That's definitely the prevailing opinion, is that these people are abusing Britney Spears. And that might be the case. I don't know.
Wow. Yeah, I think they probably really are. I wonder how much money you could make off Britney Spears where it's like, yeah, I'll take you to court. I need to keep making money off of you.
I can't even imagine, man.
To me, this is the craziest part where you could actually say, I can't see anybody. Like, who the fuck is the person that's going to a Britney Spears concert? Oh, Britney Spears in Vegas, we gotta go. I don't see how that's even, like, realistic.
Maybe a nostalgia crowd, but I don't think Britney Spears is particularly the subject of any great nostalgia. Because she's not really old enough to be nostalgic yet. But then again, everything kind of is.
But it was in a time capsule. I feel like her fucking era, she's not like a damn, I don't know, maybe she is. Maybe she's like a Dusty Springfield. Motherfucker like me.
She is a prototype of the pop starlet.
I would love to see
in the same way that, like, Madonna is. I think that Britney Spears is kind of the logical conclusion to Madonna.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is, man. There's got to be fucking people out there that fucking still consume this shit. Like, to me, I find it fucking crazy that Madonna still has fans.
Well, yeah, but, like, let's be real. We never cared for Britney Spears anyway. There might be a band, like, for example, like Sum 41. Like, I still get a kick out of them. I still enjoy their music. But I can see some people who never cared about Sum 41 even 20 years ago not giving a shit about Sum 41 now. So I never really cared about Britney Spears. So it's not all that surprising that I don't care about her now that I'm a grown man. I mean, I was never her demographic, but at least when I was a kid, I was a kid. Now I'm in my mid-30s. You know what I mean? I would say a less like not as much likelihood that I would be into that. But once again, there's always I like a couple of Katy Perry songs.
Yeah, I like a lot of Katy Perry songs too.
I don't give a shit about Katy Perry, but Dark Horse and E.T. are amazing.
You like E.T. even Kanye's part?
I don't listen to his version. Well, the funny thing against Kanye, it was because I didn't realize Kanye had a verse on that song for years. The version I heard never had Conway. Kanye, not Conway.
I'm kind of the same way.
I never knew that he did a verse.
Okay, so you probably don't like fucking Dark Horse with Juicy J's.
Well, see, I found the only version of that song I ever found is with Juicy J, and he is such a boring rapper.
Yeah,
he's like 50 Cent or P. Diddy. He's just like a Quaalude. He does nothing interesting about it.
I mean, those guys at least did something. I just can't think of anything Juicy J has done without attaching himself to Katy Perry. I don't know anything else besides what this dude's catalog at all. Juicy J.
Juicy J. That's not to say I haven't heard of something, but based solely upon the name, Dark Horse. Yeah, it's such a good, and I also like the kind of trap style drums and the minimalism. It's a really good song.
Yeah, the beat of fucking Dark Horse is fucking. There's like some well, it's not newer, but off her album that did fucking terrible. I think it was the third or fourth album, the one after Roar or whatever the fuck that one was on. But that album. There's a really cool song on it. And she shaved her head, and I think everyone fucking abandoned Katy Perry because she shaved her head, really. I don't know. Do you remember fucking Katy Perry from the Ellen DeGeneres phase?
Now that you mention it, yeah, she had very, very, very short hair. Now, but I didn't think about her actually shaving it, but yeah, I guess that would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I just couldn't get into her anymore. But I really liked that one song. I think it was called... I can't remember what it was called, man. But it was a cool song. The lyrics in it are fucking cool. Let me try to find it. Actually, I'm actually...
See, I lost a lot... I don't really like Katy Perry much anymore. Because when she was a judge on American Idol...
I hate her.
There was some, really nerdy dude who had never kissed a girl. And he made mention of that. And, either way, it ends up with Katy Perry... basically stealing this young man's first kiss.
Yeah.
Now, it's all playful. It's like, oh, okay, your first kiss went for Katy Perry, but it's like, that wasn't her choice to make. What if Blake Shelton did that shit? Some nebbishy 19-year-old girl who's never been kissed, and he fucking played for her. How do you think that would work? How hard do you think he would get Me Too?
No,
so I just think that was fucked up. She didn't really get as much blowback as I felt she should have.
Katy Perry forced herself on this guy.
I don't want to put too fine a point on. I believe it was more she was standing near him and basically ended up quickly pecking him on the lip. So it wasn't like she took him down and straddled him and started playing console hockey with. I mean, it wasn't anything like that, but it was still he did. That was not a thing he was willing to give up. Yeah,
I totally see. Man, yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
It was a violation. I mean, I'm not going to say it was I'm not going to go assault or anything, but I think if the genders had been reversed, they'd be calling it assault.
Oh God, yeah.
But I will call it is super massive, mega disrespect.
It is. It's almost her fucking showing, domineering shit.
It's straight up. It was a dominance play. I mean, that's not all that it was. That maybe not even what most of it was. But
yeah,
and there is an aspect of dominance to it. There absolutely was.
Yeah, they think that it's cute because it's Katy Perry or whatever. Oh, she's so sweet.
Not even because it's Katy Perry, because it was an attractive woman. Now, it was Katy Perry, and that adds a whole other level of social cachet to it. But it could have just been a very attractive woman at Starbucks, and I still don't think I think they'd be like, oh, dude, you were lucky she's hot.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
And it's I'm sorry, what the fuck did you just say to me? That sounds a lot like apologetics. Yeah, that was not a thing he was willing to give. It's not rape. It's not assault. I'm not trying to conflate it to that. but it was something he was not willing to give her. She took it. So, I don't really care for Katy Perry. Although E.T. and Dark Horse are still good songs, but she kind of sucks.
She's a broken person, man.
I won't go that far. I won't go that far, but I think once you get to that level of fame, I think it kind of breaks you. It takes an essential part of your reality.
She's totally broken. I mean, as far as like, her father's like a pastor, and she was trying to be a Christian singer, and she straight up says she sold her soul to the devil. This motherfucker is broken.
I mean, maybe, like, she's at a level of fame that is achieved by very few people, so maybe she straight up told us, like, yeah, she says it's like a metaphor, but no, literally, she sold her soul to Satan. That could be. I doubt it. I'm going to say probably not, but she might be actually confessing to, having sold her eternal soul to the Lord of Flies.
Dude, I mean, she has totally broken down her old self and this Katy Perry. She fucking calls herself Catherine in an interview.
Well, I mean...
take what you will.
That's her name, right?
Whatever. I mean, just take what you will of it. But she straight up does, man. I mean, she says Catherine. And I think she actually breaks down in tears. So she's another Britney Spears nut. Good Lord.
It's just, that's what happens when you voluntarily turn your life into a fishbowl. When you make of yourself an exhibit. When you make of yourself an exhibit.
I don't know.
That, and that's what they do. And they do invite it to some degree. Like, obviously, I'm not going to blame them for some of the ridiculous shit that happens, but, like, when you put yourself out there in a certain way, you invite a lot of... And like I said, this isn't blaming. This is just inevitable. This is like saying, if you start sparring, you're going to get punched in the face. It's like, yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's just what happens when you spar. When you get that level of fame, you're going to end up being in a giant terrarium.
So do you almost think it's where she's like singing fucking Christian songs for an album, and then she goes to like, I kissed a girl and I liked it?
Well, I mean, maybe the Christian thing was never, because sure, she came from that background and that upbringing and that family, but maybe that was her lying to herself. Maybe the I kissed a girl and I liked it was more honest.
I feel like she's a person that's trying to please that special somebody. And by special somebody, I mean the general public with her Katy Perry face. But I think, like, her family phase is definitely probably the Christian music stuff. I mean, yeah, possibly. Her dad's a pastor, for God's sakes. Yeah, I mean...
that is true. Like, it could be. It's just, I think she's just trying to force herself into any mold that will allow her to stay relevant.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think that's a common thing among a lot of celebrities, and from all tiers too, from A to Z. I mean, I think that it's a certain kind of mindset that they're going to do whatever they can. But look at Tori Spelling. I mean, look at what she has done to stay. Look at all the reality shows. Look at the dirty laundry she has aired of her own personal life. I mean, like, all these things. Why did she do it? She didn't do it. Was she doing it to help somebody else? Was she showing her life as an example to warn other people, or was she doing it because that kept eyes on her?
Yeah, with her case, I feel like it's to keep eyes on her. There's something.
I think that it's like 95-5.
She is so.
I think there is a part of her that honestly thinks she's helping, but I think most of it is what people have to look. Yeah. They have to see.
Such a small percent, too, that thinks she's
well, I mean, maybe I'm not really trying to shit on her in particular, but I have noticed that about her, and it is one of those things that's like, obscurity isn't that bad, surely. Surely not. I mean, I'm not exactly, living the greatest life a man has ever lived, but I don't appear to be nearly as miserable as this incredibly rich, incredibly affluent woman.
Tori Spelling is just like a curious case to me. She's the Benjamin Button of my celebrities, man. where, where, where it's like, you're actually a celebrity? You're Aaron Spelling. I don't even know who Aaron Spelling is, but I've heard
because of Tori, and how much of that is because of spelling.
That's so crazy. I wonder what the spelling guy did too. You know, where he's like, "This is the motherfucker, Aaron Spelling." I mean, really, what did he even do?
Like, he did a lot of work.
I mean, so he's pretty fucking. He's got a catalog of fucking hits.
Charmed. He's got shit going back to like the 70s, I think.
Oh my god, I had no clue. So
Aaron
so she's an epic
like, check that name out. You will find it attached to a lot. I think it was like especially television production. I want to say that what show was Tori Spelling on? 90210 or Melrose Place?
No, 90210, I want to say. Yeah, it's not.
Whichever one she was on, Spelling produced that show.
Spelling, he produced, like, I guess he was like the motherfucker of, was it NBC or something?
He was one of those motherfuckers. I don't think he was the, but he was definitely on the short. When you said the motherfuckers, you thought of Aaron Spelling.
Oh, yeah, because he was probably the dude that was fucking... He probably started the shit, writing it, or whatever, and then hired motherfuckers to continue it. I mean, that's the only thing I could think. I don't know much about... It's crazy that we would even think about a guy named Aaron Spelling. or at least in my case right here. Like, why? Why not Aaron Spelling? Like, who is Tori Spelling? And why the fuck should I care about her daddy, Aaron Spelling? Like, why was we pushed on them so hard? I mean...
Well, I think the reason we were pushed on her so hard is because she was Tori Spelling.
Do you think she's hot? Tori Spelling?
I think what?
Do you think Tori Spelling is pretty hot?
Personally, absolutely not. Like, no. And also, I've seen so much of her, like, desperate lunacy, you know, like, I've seen so much of that now that's kind of polluted my overall perception of her. So now I can't, like, untie her behavior from her appearance. So they've kind of, like, piggybacked on each other. But no, I don't think she's what I would call an unfortunate-looking woman.
Damn.
I know, but there's no way I can say that and not make me sound like a total prick. So I guess I gotta own that. But that's where I stand on Miss Spelling.
When I think of Miss Spelling, all I can see in my head...
Miss Spelling, I don't get that.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch, man. All right, go ahead. This is become a silly place. Let's go.
Dude, but when I think about her, dude, for some reason, all I can see is a profile picture of her. And I remember her more for her schnoz, man. That's the only thing I can think of.
Just her overall, like, her whole face, man. Like, that's what I say. I don't want to... I rag on a person for a lot of things, but those all have to be choices. This woman looking like this was that was not of her doing.
She had a very carved in stone physical countenance.
She had like stage 1 Rocky Dennis thing happening. I'm done. No more. No more for me. But you know, I mean,
the big ass nose.
But that's what I mean, though. Is these people? It's like they're clinging to relevancy.
Tori. So Tori Spelling, and even Katy Perry at this. Yeah, Katy Perry too. I think she's done.
I think Katy Perry. I think
she's done.
God, let's see. I can think of a couple, but most of them are women, and I'm trying to think of one that I guess Shane Dawson. You could say he's clinging to relevancy, but that's a YouTube guy, so that's.
Yeah, the whole YouTube thing seems like they're
that's kind of that's a still evolving paradigm.
YouTube is desperation mode, and that's, to me, that's always what I find weird. And it's not every celebrity, dude. You see it, and there's some that actually genuinely like YouTube. And I'm not shit on like fucking Brie Larson, but I feel like...
No, I will shit on her. No, piss on that.
I feel like that she's almost in both categories where she, like, she likes YouTube. You know, she likes the thing. She probably would have been a YouTube content creator had she not been an actress. But I kind of feel that way with her. I feel like that she's got her toes in both worlds. left foot toe and right foot big toe in both of these worlds, that she's more fucking really kind of an unlikable sort. There's nothing really likable about Brie Larson except she's kind of hot.
I can't even see that. Once again, like her attitude to me is so entwined with her, and most of it's her politics.
Do you think?
I listen to it and I'm just like, oh my god,
dude, I'm kind of the same way. I'm kind of the same way, and I'm saying she's hot, mainly because of peer pressure. I remember everyone.
But she does. If you're into ice queens, then yeah, okay. Like blonde ice queen, then yeah, okay. I'll give you Brie Larson might have something. But see, I'm into people with personality. Yeah. And she is completely lacking in that. So, no thank you. She appears to not like me simply because of who and what I am. So, I will return the favor.
Maybe she's the real motherfucker in Don Cheadle. I've seen that video of her and Don Cheadle, and I think she touches Don Cheadle, and Don Cheadle fucking recoils. And he's like, don't touch me.
To be fair, she might have spooked him. Like he might have been dozing off, and then she texted him, and he fucking, oh, Jesus, I'm still here. I wasn't, you were asleep.
It makes me really wonder about her, because like you said, the whole Ice Queen thing, she totally gives that off where she's a bitch 80% of the time. You know?
And she also has, and this is another phrase I haven't broken out in a while, but there's a phrase called resting bitch face. And it's by no means a uniquely female phenomenon. Like, there's the way some people's faces are. It just makes them look like they're kind of irritated. Or they might be argumentative, or something. And it's just, and it doesn't mean that they are. It might be perfectly pleasant. But they just have a look.
Oh, yeah, totally. There's a certain demographic of male, which I may fit into, you know, that just wants to bust on that face. You know, there's something hot about it. You know, even though you're going to put yourself through fucking ultimate hell, because they are, they are as they appear, a total fucking extremist bitch. An extremist bitch, which is no doubt what Brie Larson is. But there's something about it where it's like, you want to fucking bust on their face, even though they would never let you, and you never will. But you want to.
Man, I would choose the path of the monk before that. I'll just go full MGTOW.
Well, yeah, you're right. Well, I am the married one.
It's just like how you win, well,
I can see it.
By not playing sometimes.
I wouldn't play either. In hindsight, if I had to, I'd say, do I really want to put myself through this? It's kind of one of those things where you're in quicksand, where you're like, oh God, the more I fight, the further I'm going to go down.
The more you fight, you're going to go down faster. But if you hold still, you're going down. It's just going to take a while.
That's funny as fuck, dude. I never really thought. Brie Larson is a bitch like quicksand.
That remind me of like a brand new title. Or Taking Back Sunday. Brie Larson is a bitch like quicksand.
So many. Yeah. Dude, it really could have been.
Yeah, I could have been any of that, like, early and mid-2000s. I don't know what that would be, emo. I'm not really sure what to call them. I guess emo, but that seems too general.
Dude, I heard I was checking out some of the later Taking Back Sunday. I don't know how much by later I mean, but some of their later work from what we was introduced to them as. And it seemed like they were kind of copying, like, Dropkick Murphys on this one song that I heard. But there were several.
Wow, that's a band I haven't thought of in a while, but Dropkick Murphys.
Yeah, I mean, it was that totally drunk sing-along song.
Yeah, the pub crawl. I love that. Yeah, it's like a sea shanty for Irishmen. You know, it's fucking great.
Yeah, maybe that goes back into what we was talking about, that tribalism mode.
Oh, dude, absolutely. That's what's so great about heavy metal and punk.
Yeah, it really is. I think that's the only reason punk still has a pulse. You know, it's just because of that primal aspect.
Punk is rock and roll in its purest, most degraded, like, filthy, smelly, like punk is the ethos of rock and roll, that youthful rebellion. But it's ramped up to 11, 12 even. It's like punk. There's something about punk that allows you to become a human middle finger. And that's the spirit of rock and roll. But Take It Back Sunday and the Dropkick Murphys.
Yeah, they totally. It totally sounded like that. There was, this was the 1 in 20 song that sounded like something not Taking Back Sunday that I had heard. And I wasn't listening to album after album. It was more like a playlist that Apple had generously preloaded for me. They're like, oh, you like that one? You might like this one, which I would like to see the algorithm, which they think that I would like. What's the science behind what I may like?
Keywords, key phrases, clicks, time of engagement.
Yeah.
I imagine there's so many things that are happening at once that it would break a 1960s era NASA computer in half.
Yeah, I think so too, because I think, not sounding like egotistical or any way like that, but like I feel like there's things that I like that's not really in line with the other things that I really like, And
I think that's a lot of people. I think that's. I would hope that would be most people. Is that okay? I like this, but I also like that outlier motherfucker over there. I think I would hope people would be eclectic enough to have taste that could not be called by an Apple curation.
Oh yeah, were you only want to
predicted? That was the word. But predicted either way.
My top 5 favorite bands are Creed, Nickelback, Limp Bizkit.
Well, you know what? The algorithm might be able to find everything you want. You might be okay.
I guess that's one good thing you could say about Apple. They go a little bit deeper, than what you're used to. Maybe that's. They've
always kind of had a thing for music anyway, haven't they? Apple.
They really have, man.
There's like a special affinity with that. It seems like Steve Jobs had a lot of love for the musician, or just the creative in general.
Yeah, to even think of the idea of the iPad, or not the iPad. What was that fucking thing called? What the fuck was that MP3 player called?
Oh, the iPod.
The iPod. I was so close. Yeah.
Well, yeah, iPod. He likes the iPod. He likes monosyllabic words. He likes that shit to be punchy.
Yeah, even the iMac. You can totally tell a Steve Jobs creation by that, really. And that, yeah, he really did fucking have a love of it. He respected it, or at least an individual. It was always about the individual. I feel like even with Apple back then.
Cannot stress. I know I'm always on that shit, but good. We have to acknowledge the individual and build from there. If you want to collectivize after that, fine. I still think it's an awful idea, but until you acknowledge the sovereign individual, you cannot collectivize. Fuck, man. I'm sorry. That's just been I've been reading Robert Heinlein and listening to stuff like that again, and that crazy libertarian motherfucker. He's selling me on it, man. Service guarantees citizenship.
Who is it? Robert Heinlein?
Robert Heinlein.
Heinlein?
Yeah, it's. I can shoot you the audiobook. It's about 9.5 hours, but I can also shoot you a video by Sargon of Akkad called "The Politics of Starship Troopers." And people have a lot to say about old Carl Benjamin, but he makes an effort to be as impartial as possible. And that's often why he gets so much shit, is because he won't immediately demonize a group. He'll speak with them or he'll acknowledge them on their own terms, which I think is the way to do it, because bad ideas cannot withstand direct sunlight. So show them. Don't demonize them. Show them for exactly what they are and let them think themselves.
That's kind of the thing I like. I like Sargon, really. Even though, I can see where people could say, oh, let's make fun of this dude. But at the same time...
definitely. Absolutely that. And I can also see where people consider him to be just cold and unfeeling, or just a dick. I can totally see that.
But I think he's important too, man. I really do.
Oh, he's incredibly important. The man went from a YouTube commentator to he ran for like parliament. Like he became the face of a struggling independent party. Him, like, we have Sargon of Akkad and Count Dankula. You know, the guy that got locked up because he taught us Nazi to do he taught his pug to do a Nazi salute. Yeah, he got arrested in a socialist country for making fun of Nazis. A national socialist country.
Sargon. Yes.
I'm just saying, man, yeah, but Sargon is an incredibly important figure. As strange as that, sentence is, so is Count Dankula, for that matter. Just think about that. Like, one of them is the name of a ruler from millennia ago, and the other is a fucking meme name. Count Dankula. Like, he's now a public figure, and some people know him.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's crazy that he even got to that point where he could be a political figure. You know?
It's not surprising. It's kind of it's a reaction, and not necessarily in a reactionary kind of way, but it's what happens when you start like jabbing the body politic. You get some weird moves, and one of those weird moves happens to be two shitlords running for public office.
It is.
This is what happens, man. This is almost inevitable.
It's hard too because at the same time you want to respect it and stuff, but at the same time it's just so fucking crazy, man. That they fucking did they get that opportunity, And I don't know if it was the old guard and trying to embrace this new generation or whatever. Or I think Sargon's smart as hell. Listen to
he's definitely, he's not a fool. Like, say what you want about it, the guy is not stupid.
Oh yeah, I totally feel the same way. But he does paint himself in these corners where
yes he does. He has a way of doing that. But see, it's not what I like about it. Because he's been described as a radical free speech advocate.
Yeah, it's not often that he does paint himself in those corners, but Sargon. Crazy that he could have been anything related to like politicking over an individual city sector or anything like that. That's pretty wild to me. He joined UKIP, didn't he? If I remember.
Yeah, the United Kingdom Independent Party, which
is a good thing. I really feel like that is. I think there needs to be something to challenge. Even the thing that's not the status quo needs to be challenged sometimes by something that's like independent, really. Because they have totally fucking sold out. You need to fucking be like, this isn't what you're really about. You need to fucking challenge it.
It is your duty as a sovereign individual to, like, you have to dissent. Sometimes you have to.
He's a lock liberalist, right? Fucking Sargon.
Well, he liberalist is kind of the thing that he came up with because the word liberal has been polluted with progressivism. But see, this is where he and I part, because I simply refuse. I will die on the hill of being a liberal, of that phrase meaning a certain thing politically. Like, I want that to be a distinct and well-defined political definition. I want that to be, of course it's plastic and the idea can evolve, but I don't want things that are not at all what this is being called this, right? Like, I don't want, because the progressive ideals are not liberal ideals. They're like secular religious fundamentalism. Like, it's very, very strange what they do. That's why I would say the left is eating itself.
Oh my God.
And it's fabulous. However, it's gonna get really uncomfortable.
Yeah, the fact that they're eating themselves, they need to. What they are now is they have become a joke of themselves. They are They are so authoritarian, authoritarian.
Yeah, that's the aspect of the political compass that everyone neglects. The vertical. everybody's so obsessed with the x-axis, that side to side of whether you're conservative or liberal, that so many people forget about the libertarian authoritarian distinction.
Yeah,
they may be on the left, but if you look at a political compass, they're in the upper left, the authoritarian left.
Yeah.
I am down here. I'm on the left. I'm on the libertarian left. I'm on the live and let live. I'm definitely a lefty, but I'm like a kind of a fucking, I don't know, like I don't know if I would ever be considered a Democrat, but 30 years ago, if you said liberal, I'm closer to that than a progressive.
It's totally got, it's been a total takeover. It's
yes.
I don't know by what exactly. I can't really. I mean, there's a word for it, but I'm too stupid to think of it. But it's totally got fucking taken over by this fucking this entity, and what's even worse to say is like people fucking. There's a pretty good bit of a population that's behind it. That's what's the scariest thing to me. Really is.
And that portion of the population is in government and educational systems.
Yeah, that too. And then they got their cult. You know, the few cult members and stuff that's out there too. And the thing is, that cult is usually pretty fucking vocal. You know, where
I actually think they might be even deceptively vocal. Like I don't know.
I think so too. Maybe.
I'm just not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's as big as I think it is or not.
Yeah, I'm in that same fucking boat, man. I really hope it isn't.
That's where I'm at. I'm at the hope. I hope it's not, but I believe it might be.
I had a little bit of a fucking a little bit of the rainbow splash on me the other day. You know, as far as God, it's so cringe to say that. You know. And that bothers me too, that I would think that it was so cringe to say a little bit of the rainbow. But yeah, a little bit of that bright spot that fucking shined upon me the other day, where I said something that was kind of a centrist left, and people fucking downvoted it on Reddit.
Yeah, it's because you are on the right wing. You're all right, bro. I mean, you're basically Goebbels.
Yeah, it makes me feel that way.
You're not.
Thank God it was just 11%. I think the
you are a liberal of the classical tradition, of the English liberal tradition. With I might even say that's what you are exactly. You might skew further to the right, but fine. The American political dialogue is based off of Lockean liberalism. It's based off of. Oh, yeah. That's how we have this discussion.
He's almost.
So even conservatives are liberal in a way.
A forgotten founding father, for some reason.
I mean, I think I don't really know why, because Jefferson was very fond of. I think we talked about that in the past. How he kind of co-opted one of Locke's credos, that life, liberty, and property. Yeah, and Jefferson changed it to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Which don't get me wrong, I like the poetry of it. But yeah, it's very flowery language. I like Locke's pragmatism, life, liberty, property. It's just bam, bam, bam. You know what I mean? It's these very distinct things. Pursuit of happiness it's so what does that even mean? I bet Jeffrey Dahmer was pretty happy.
Yeah, he got to live out his wildest dreams.
That's what I'm saying. So, maybe Pursuit of Happiness, while a very poetically, I like the phrase, at the same time, it's like, okay, well, life, liberty, property, just bam, bam, bam. You know what I mean? We just get very distinct things, and you can build off of that. That's what it needs to be, very clear, concise ideas, and then we go from there. And at no point in time are those ideas ever beyond questioning. That's why I said it is your duty as a sovereign individual to dissent. If there are 10 people in the room, you're the 10th person, and all 9 agree, it is your duty, even if you agree with those other 9, to present an opposing opinion.
What's so crazy too? You're talking about all this this sovereign individualism stuff, how much that the fucking, I don't know if you've been to the fucking, the last time I went to vote, which I think was 2020 or whatever, hell, it might have been 2006, I can't remember when it was, but there was a question to me where it asked to classify sovereign citizens, I can't remember exactly, but I want to say it was something like where there was more laws to control them. Where there's more laws to control the sovereign, and I get it. There's a lot of sovereign citizens that's fucking nuts. You know, this
sure, absolutely,
extremely,
and some of them are armed and legally armed.
Yeah, that's what's the crazy thing. Because eventually there's that motherfucker that's crazy enough.
Yes.
That also has the fucking grasp of like, hey, this is actually legal. What I'm fucking doing. You know, and we can go to court and I'll fucking fight you and we'll draw it out for, 15 weeks or whatever. But yeah, there's some motherfuckers like that where it's like, yeah, they're fucking crazy, but I mean, I don't know, the sovereign individual is crazy. I don't even know where I was going with this point, but that is. But on the last election, I seen that, man. They wanted to fucking curb some fucking rights of a sovereign citizen. And it didn't even sound that bad. It didn't even sound like, hey, this is a police call. We're going to a sovereign citizen's place. It wasn't even like that. It was like, hey, the sovereign citizens that are chill, we're gonna start fucking with them too. That's what it felt like when I voted.
You guys are being too chill and you're making us nervous.
Yeah. You voted in the last election too, right?
Yeah, I was tempted. I should have went with Joe Jorgensen. It was really hard to me that we should have did that, but I was so afraid of what happened in the '92 with Ross Perot, when he threw his hat in and just kind of fucked up. He ended up. It was weird. I think that's why Clinton ended up getting elected.
I would think that was
Ross
a good
Perot
thing.
dropped in, he kind of split remaining votes a little bit.
In a way, I feel like that was a good thing.
I probably was. I don't know. Old Slick Willie. If anything, it got Hillary that much closer to the button.
Yeah, but that was down the line. You think about it. You think about Bill Clinton, and Bill Clinton. Obviously he was being. Bill Clinton's a Rhodes Scholarship, right? He was part of the Rhodes Scholarship, if I remember.
I believe, which is surprising.
And then married fucking Hillary Clinton, who was this fucking total fucking witch.
No, make no mistake. Bill didn't marry her. She married Bill. Let's call that what it is, okay? Bill has not been in the driver's seat for many and many moves.
But yeah, I feel like, okay, so you got a guy like George Bush who is preaching about a new world order. All right? That's weird enough to even the guys that are Christian and fucking right and following them because they're fucking retarded.
The what? the what? What? Look, unless we're talking about Hulk Hogan, I don't want to hear NWO.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Get that creepy shit out of here and get it back into some shitty dime store dystopic fiction.
Maybe that's a good thing that fucking Vince McMahon. Well, hell, Ted Turner, really. Even crazier. NWO was the fucking WCW fucking property, right?
Yeah, it was a WCW property created by Vince McMahon guys. The original 3 NWO were all WWF guys. They were just operating under Vince McMahon's umbrella. But they went to fucking Ted Turner, a fucking depopulationist, globalist, and they're gonna start a fucking thing called the NW. I'm gonna take your most popular guys, Vince. I've got enough money. This is Ted Turner's fucking pitch to Vince. Or really his fucking fuck you note to Vince. This is a post clip right here.
I've got enough money to convince Hulk Hogan to come over, and they're gonna do something called the NWO. Vince McMahon, or not Vince McMahon. It's crazy that you could think that Vince McMahon could ever be a hero. But in contrast to someone like Ted Turner, who is a fucking the world, the Georgia Guidestones, that is Ted Turner all over. That's part of his family. I want to say it was his grandmother's land. the Georgia Guidestones, where it's like
we gotta go check those out, man. We gotta go check those out one day.
Yeah, it is a fucking. It is a United Nations fucking monument.
And like, how many was it? Like, keep the population of the planet below 100,000.
Yeah,
I actually would be very okay with the population being half. No, I'm not talking about for any extermination or anything. I'm talking about like a gradual over centuries and centuries working down. But I think everything would be a lot better if there were less of us.
It might be an optimistic thing, but like I want to say that maybe it was more than 100,000. Maybe it was 100 million. But if it was,
I don't think it was that. But that still wouldn't be terribly bad. Considering we're what 8 billion now, 100 million wouldn't be too much.
Man, wow. Even that though. But yeah, the fact that Ted Turner fucking came up with the NWO is pretty fucking almost hilarious now to think of. You know, I'm darkly humorous.
Yes, and my favorite kind of humorous.
It's fucking crazy. And be like, we're gonna push it to the wrestling fanatics.
Yeah, basically we're gonna sell blue collar America.
Because even though I could say, hey, I was a wrestling fan, which I was a total wrestling fan when I was a kid.
Same here, bro. Same here.
And the fact that like some of these guys, I just can't fucking connect with. Not the wrestlers, but like the fans and stuff like that. Like the fans that are like really so into it, where they believe it's real.
I don't think there's too much of that anymore. I think Vince McMahon has made sure that it's still real to me, damn it, is a thing of the past.
Maybe that's where it goes to, like, in contrast to fucking Ted Turner, Vince McMahon is sort of the hero. You know, you would think he's a heel in the heel sense. But when you got a story about two heels together, Vince McMahon is the hero.
He's more the anti-hero than anything. But I don't see, like, he may not be a globalist the way Ted Turner is, and so, like, Ted Turner might be a greater heel for his globalist agenda, but if you're looking at it from a wrestling perspective, Vince McMahon is the way bigger heel because he has ruined American mainstream wrestling in the last 15 years. Just ruined it.
Who, Vince McMahon?
Yeah, just fucking wrecked it, man.
You really? Okay. No. I don't think you can blame Vince. Only by proxy, maybe.
He has been helming the WWE. That has been his baby. In the last 15 years, there probably have not been many decisions that he has not, if not made, signed off on.
I don't know too much about
it. His company.
I don't know too much about it, but so. You know, take this with a grain of salt, but whatever. I think he has fucking let go some of the reins and said, hey, Stephanie, you take over. Oh, you want to bring your husband in, Triple H? Yeah, he can start writing storylines too, because isn't that the case too? Stephanie McMahon's pretty fucking heavily involved.
I think she's head of creative.
At least that's what I say. And even Triple H, man.
Triple H is chief operating officer or something. Like he's corporate. Like he's straight up corporation.
That's crazy to me, man. But yeah, I think Vince.
He ran the WWF or the WWE, man. Like he was in control. Like now it looks like a melting wax sculpture of himself. Now he's probably relinquished a little bit of control. But he. That's why I say him directly. That's why I say Vince McMahon specifically, is because he ran his company, even well beyond the point of good sense. You could say, ran his company into the ground.
Yeah, because in the end, I feel like it is his final say. He could probably tell Stephanie to fuck off, you know. But he's too lazy and too fucking really in that greed lifestyle where he's like, dude, I'm still doing good. You know? Yeah,
he's doing good. Yeah, with the WWE network and all that shit, he's doing good. He's basically erased the relevancy of pay-per-views in his company.
Yeah, I didn't even know they had that. I didn't know there was a network. What is it like?
Yeah, there used to be a network, but then for whatever reason, Peacock ended up buying it. the NBC streaming service, and the first thing they did was start censoring things.
Dude, that's fucking terrible.
It's just right off the bat. See, when you censor a thing, you give it more power than it might otherwise possess. You now make it a taboo. And there are few things that are as fishhook in the mind to a certain kind of person, then you're not allowed to see this.
That's a true statement, but also I feel like at the same time that it's probably one that's been fucking, that a motherfucker like Ted Turner has probably solved. Where he's like, I'm gonna change the narrative. Where you don't have as much foothold in this fucking opinion, where I can fucking, I don't know what it's been with, but they have totally created this fucking a subclass. You think of the mole men from fucking the Time Machine or whatever the fuck they were.
Oh, the Morlocks?
Yeah, you think of those, man, and almost that is. I feel like we live amongst them.
Morlocks or just crazy, creepy other species things?
Just stupid fucking people.
Ah, yes. Oh, absolutely. Like, actually, I think it would be more accurate to say we live among them, because I feel as though they are the majority.
I do too. I really do.
No, I think I'm being, like, pointlessly pessimistic, and I think if the majority of people were idiots, that society wouldn't function, not even as well as it is. Say what you want. Things aren't going great, but you can go to a store and the shelves are stocked.
That's why I can't fucking fully shit on the idea of the elites.
Well, that's why I can have no problem shitting on the idea of the elites. I have no problem upholding capitalism. I don't trust capitalism. I think it is a shifty, untrustworthy, dangerous thing. However, compared to everything else, it's the only one that appears to be like a positive model for success. I don't trust capitalism. If you don't keep an eye on it, it's like an axe. An axe is great for splitting firewood. But if you're clumsy with the axe, you can take your fucking foot off.
Oh, capitalism is a tool, no doubt. You know.
So use it wisely, or it will cripple you.
Yeah, and sadly, it's so many have succumbed to the temptation.
Absolutely.
Of that, and really many people have suffered because of it. You know.
Oh yeah, but capitalism's hands, metaphorically speaking, are not even remotely free of blood. I mean, not in any way whatsoever.
Really?
And I'm not even going to say, but it's still less than social. I'm not even going to play that card. Capitalism has killed countless, untold millions of people.
But still, I don't know this for certain, but I feel like it's probably not has done as bad as communism or something.
It's undoubtedly not as bad.
In that, like you said earlier, man, it's shit.
Hundreds and hundreds of millions of corpses can be laid at Karl Marx's feet.
That is crazy. I was talking about this earlier too, or not earlier, but not with you. But oh, that sounds rude. But
not with you though, dumbass.
Yeah. I was talking about myself in the last video that I did that I never published. But
I didn't see one. But I always try to check them out whenever I see them.
But yeah, I feel like fuck, dude, fuck. I'm pretty fucking drunk, and I gotta piss. It's a hard thing to fight. What was we even talking about?
Capitalism versus socialism, the amount of corpses.
Oh yeah, but I mean, dude, I can't even fucking figure out where I was going.
I kind of hate to use this, but as far as evils go, it's the lesser of the two.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's even evil. I think it can be.
Yeah, and to me, I think it all falls down to the individual, which in capitalism, there is still room for the individual.
It's what drives the market. It's like, look, I don't like Amazon, even though I discovered that Audible, my audiobook service, is a subsidiary of Amazon. But since so I don't give them any more money, I just give them that money, no more. But I use my buying power to speak my opinion in the market. Now, granted, Amazon is not going to miss me. Right? Like, I'm not making my boycotting, or whatever you want to call it. I'm not hurting their bottom line. They don't even notice my ass. But still, it's what I can do. And if one twig floating down a stream is barely even driftwood. But 7 billion twigs is a dam.
Dude, that's fucking beautiful. I love that. I really do.
So the individual has the power in the market. Now, those individuals can collectivize so as to increase their power. I don't see a problem with that, as long as it is individuals collectivizing. When it becomes a collective, capital C, proper noun, collective, then shit starts getting a little sketchy. Because then we start talking about proletariat and bourgeoisie.
What do you think, like, the masses has to do to care? I mean, really, what drives the masses? And
convenience, comfort. And nowadays, I would say those.
Convenience and comfort.
I would say least friction.
Yeah, those people that could fucking just turn on Netflix.com, the streaming service or whatever.
Yeah, they want, when they decide to check their Facebook page, they want it to load in a timely manner and not be buggy. When they go to work, they want gas to be a reasonable price, or at least what they have been conditioned to believe is reasonable, depending on the market at the moment. But, I mean, there are a lot of things that people want, and I think it comes down to comfort and convenience.
That's what's.
They want their phones to be charged.
And I always feel like the elites can kind of control it too.
There is no kind to it. If they were so inclined, controlling would be as easy as getting a hold of any kind of service.
What's so sad too? I think of gas prices, dude. Did you ever? I mean, honestly, seriously, did you ever think gas prices would get to what me and you paid? Because you paid $5 into it too, of your $10 that we won from the talent show.
Oh, yeah, I remember that was a great
into my gas tank in 2004. Gas was like $1.49 or something like that. It has never been that low. Like 2 years ago, it was that low again.
Shit, last year, just because of the pandemic.
Even before that,
I saw some places it was as low as $1.20.
Even before the pandemic, though, man. It was that fucking low.
And that's kind of right. It makes you wonder what Trump was doing.
Yeah, he really was. He had something figured out. Dude, you can go back and look at it. I mean, you want to say, oh, I want to argue this. But go back and look at, like, OPEC and the deals that Trump was doing to, like, get around certain things. It was fucking genius. Really. I mean, and I don't want to sit here and fucking, like, blow on fucking Trump's asshole at all, you know, but some of the...
even if he wanted to, he wouldn't let you because he's such a tool sometimes.
Some of the fucking things that he was doing, dude, honestly, I mean, to God, dude, I haven't seen that shit. I almost thought that shit had gone away.
Yeah, I mean,
he brought it back.
That's how he viewed himself.
He brought it back. I mean, gas prices says, I never, ever... That's like me saying, oh, I never thought gas would be 55 cents. Like my grandparents saying that or something. Oh, we used to pay 55 cents. I never thought that I could say that again. That gas was like $1.27.
Especially given inflation and how much less the dollar is worth now than it was even 20 years ago.
I mean, dude, you can't fucking deny Trump's fucking deals.
That's what I'm saying. He was a winner, and his team was America, and he was on the winning team.
That motherfucker got peace in the Middle East.
When he walked up into North Korea and hung out with Kim Jong-un.
I mean,
he's a tool. Don't get me wrong, but like
I can't even say that. I mean, a guy that could fucking get motherfuckers that have been fucking warring forever, since recorded history, to fucking say, yeah, this deal works out for me, and I can see it works out for you, but it works out pretty good for us too. I'm down with it. that he got motherfuckers like that to agree and to go along. It's
inarguable.
It is something. Yeah, man. That's like George Floyd's mural in fucking, what was it, LaGrange, Ohio? Which I almost thought was
I
LaGrange,
don't know what
Georgia.
it was, but I think it got struck by lightning and exploded.
That
Which I don't put anything into that except that it's like, oh wow, that's kind of fucked up.
I do not. Of all the things
like,
that could happen,
whatever meaning you want to draw from it, that was fucked up. It was like, oh shit. Well,
fucking blown up.
Sorry, George, you got exploded by God.
I mean, have you seen the pictures? The pictures are everything but. I mean, it's George fucking Floyd. Everything but George Floyd is still there.
And he got wiped out. Like, and it was
so
it was a fucking like divine tactical strike.
I mean, even if you could chalk it up to like, yeah, that's kind of a coincidence. But everything but George Floyd.
Hey, but weather is weird.
Dude, I don't even know if I can say that.
Weather does some shit where, like, a tornado will destroy one trailer in the whole trailer park. I mean, so, like, weather does some weird shit, but you can't deny that George Floyd getting sniped out of everything else around there, him just getting not only hit by lightning, but, like, it was fucking Raiden hit it, man. Like, Thor called down a goddamn thunderbolt on that shit. So, yeah, I will admit. But no matter what you draw from it, that thing got exploded. I didn't even know lightning could do that to brick walls.
I didn't either. That's
like, seriously, like, that's some heavy-duty Marvel shit, man. Like that's... Like, that shit got obliterated. Like, that's wild. So, like I say, make of it what you will, but I'm blown away that a brick wall was reduced to literal rubble by what basically amounts to a supersized static discharge.
I mean, 25 or maybe even 50% of that wall, that side of the wall. I haven't seen the other three corners of it, but I've seen that side of that fucking building that shit was done on, and it. I mean, look at it. It's a fucking he is gone completely.
Unless somebody photoshopped it to make it look that clean, it is most definitely he got taken out specifically.
Oh my! If they did that, they're a scumbag.
his picture, like they cut it out of the yearbook. Like, it was just gone.
It sounds so cringe to say, and I really hate to say it because it is fucking cringe. But to say, oh, God did that, it almost fucking gives credence to fucking lay that groundwork, man. I mean,
I would say I wouldn't see God, because I assume being that we're in the West, that it would be God with a capital G, Judeo-Christian, God, and I would be like, no, I don't want any part of that lunatic.
Okay, so I just Googled fucking George Floyd. This is the SEO, which I'm pretty pissed off at Google. I mean, I don't fucking sit here and say this, but oh god, the third fucking hit is from Yahoo News, which is George Soros fucking run, obviously. Okay, the first one, George Floyd mural in North Toledo reduced to rubble after being struck by lightning. I want to pull up this picture because I think the picture is worth. It's worth.
Oh yeah, it's worth way more than 1,000 words.
Dude, oh my god, yeah.
It's worth 1,000 bricks.
If I remember this shit right, dude, there is shit to the left of it, there is shit to the right of it. This is a perfect view. This is almost like someone fucking did this on purpose and was saying...
It kind of looks like someone might swipe a single wall with a wrecking ball.
It is,
just
dude.
One good smack and then drive away.
Dude, it is. He has been completely removed. It is like... And the fact that they have video evidence of it happening. This fucking thing just exploded. It is just...
I mean, even if it was... Like, I don't know why God would choose to snipe him, because he really wasn't... I mean, he may not have been a saint, but he was murdered that day. I feel confident in saying...
Dude, when has God ever tried to make a sign? You think about what he did to the Pharaoh of Egypt. When has he not ever tried to fucking... say, motherfucker, I'm real.
Well, I mean,
I killed your firstborn son.
Like I said, that Old Testament God, man, he was.
The Old Testament God is the only Testament God. I don't. This New Testament, that's Jesus, and Jesus hasn't returned yet. If you really want to get it, Jesus hasn't returned yet. Jesus is the New Testament God. The Old Testament God was an OG.
There's also, because of the fact that Christ has not returned, there is a Jew out there who is wandering around still. He's been alive since like since like fucking 3180. Because there was a prophecy that said at least one person that saw the Messiah then would be alive to see his second coming. And that Jew who was leaving, I can't remember what city it was, but he was leaving as Christ was going in. And so that Jew was now cursed with immortality, or at least cursed to be alive until Christ returned.
Oh, what is this theory? I've never heard of this. What is this?
It's called the Wandering Jew. You should check him out. Yeah,
oh my God, I've never heard of this. I've never heard of this. This is.
I wanted to write a story about him. Because there are, I think, 3 people in the Bible that were brought back from the dead. There was Lazarus.
Yeah.
Someone's daughter. I can't remember her name, and the Wandering Jew. And I've always thought it'd be cool to do a story about like the Wandering Jew trying to bring about the apocalypse because he's so spiteful. He's so pissed at like God for cursing him like this that he's trying to bring about the Armageddon.
So do you think he was one of those guys that was trying to get like Jesus crucified? I mean, what's his story?
Was nobody. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like, he was literally there. He saw Christ going into a city as he himself was leaving.
That's what's so crazy about. I mean, you always if you look at any story of the Bible, God always chooses the weirdest people. It's kind of weird. It's strange, man. Oh my God, I think my kid's crying. Shit. Dude! Alright, dude, I'm gonna have to get on and see what the hell she's doing. John, I'm sorry.
No worries, man.
It was a good show. I hear a fucking kid crying, though.
I'll do it again next time. I'll let you know tomorrow.
Alright, see you, brother.
Bye, man.